arena. On the ice now, Sophie Monniot and Pascal Lavonchi. And there's good ice coverage, it's nice and bouncy. And they really captured the flavor of the polka. Lots of life. Sometimes you don't pay so much attention to the alignment of the free legs. You have to just get that feel of a polka dance. And particularly on that second side with the use of the arms going contrary, putting a little bit of innovation in there, trying to stand out from the rest of the competition.
After the first couple, the judges give their marks to the referee, who determines the needed mark, and then returns this information to them.
So there is that contrary movement. And Sophie and Pascal first to skate the second dance, this Yankee Polka. It's better than being first to skate the first dance, that's for sure. My name's Nicky Slater, and I welcome you to Eurosport's coverage of this European Figure Skating Championship. And here are the marks. 5.4s right across and 5.5s to 5.6, leaving them in first place on this dance. And they'll be pleased with that. Of course, all the other skaters to come.
Thank you.
Sur la glace,
On the ice,
Barbara Fusarpoli, Mauricio.
So next to skate, Barbara Fusarpoli and Maurizio Margaglio from Italy. And as ever, the ice dance event, a bit of a fashion show. And the gloves, an unusual touch. nice, clean, fresh performance. And the dancers always know how to bow. And here are their marks for Barbara and Maurizio. Coming in a couple of moments, and you see good alignment there on the free legs. And expression just so important. And so the marks ranging from 5-2 up to 5-3s, and then 5-1s to 5-4. They'll be pleased with that. And next onto the ice, Irina Romanova and Igor Yaroshenko, the 1996 bronze medalists in the European Championship. A very elegant dress for this married couple doing the polka. Not quite covering as much ice on the second side as some of the other skaters. Their patterns outside of what the others are doing. So to me on that, the first side of the dance flowed well, had a lot of life, but they did look just a little bit quiet, a little bit slower on that second side, not swooping into the middle of the ice towards the judges quite as much as some of the other couples. But as ever, elegant, lots of life, great dancers. So it'll be interesting to see where they're placed at this stage in the competition. And here we look at the start. Many a time I've had the ladies' blade just go into my shin at that point in time. You have to give quite a lot of space so the lady can turn. Could be a little bit wider and sharper on those stretches of edge there. And with them, Natalia Linichuk. There's the marks. Very good as expected, 5.3 up to 5.5. And running from 5.3s to 5.5 again. Consistent in second place at this moment in time. And next onto the ice for the Yankee Polka, Marina Anasini and Gwendal Pesara of France. National champions due to the injury from Sophie Monniot and Pascal Levanchy. It's given them a chance to really prove themselves. Let's see what they can do here. Been looking good in the warm-up. again, good ice coverage. It's nice and sharp. Important in the polka to try and define every step, to stamp it out. And a very nice polka from Marina and Gwendol. It's not often you get the opportunity when your national champions are out with injury to shine, but they've definitely been doing that. They picked up the Trophy Lalique in this season and was second in 3 internationals. Definitely caught the eyes of the judges. Good outfits as well, but really the flow over the ice and the power that they can put into their skating is very impressive. Fourth in last year's Europeans. And of course, Marina, Moscow born, but with a hometown of Lyon. Now it really is the sharpness of getting those steps, bouncing and almost jumping. It's all part of the game. And there's that starting step where the girl's going to turn. Give her the room just to slip through. And that was the end. And here come the marks. And they're very good. And that could be pushing themselves above Monniot and Lavanchi. Looks like it. 5-5 and 5-6 for technical, and the artistic 5-5s to 5-7s. And we could have a bit of a surprise here. Have to see how it comes out in the wash. But well skated, they'll be delighted with that. And the next to skate, Oksana Grishchuk and Yevgeny Platov, the 1994 Olympic champions. Of course, they've been 3 times world champions as well. And the polka can prove to be a little bit more difficult for the taller couples. So well defined, it was sharp. For me, it was a little bit lacking in certain places with that definition, just because they're a taller, more graceful couple. The polka a little bit more out of their scene, really. But as ever, skating with great confidence. When you're the champion, you take the ice, and that's what they've been doing here. They did on the second side of the second dance. They pulled the edge a little bit, got very close to the barrier. You can see, very, very close in, using every inch of the ice. Good extension on the steps out. Tatiana Tarasova concentrating. She looks happier now. And so here come the marks. And good they are, 5-7s to 5-8s, and 5-7 from Estonia up to 5-8. Up to that 5.9. So establishing that first position. They've won both compulsories so far.
Thank you. On the ice.
And next to skate, Margarita Drobiazko and Povilas Vanagas from Lithuania. They won Skate Israel just last year, as indeed they did the year before, 6th in the Europeans in 1996. They've been national champions of Lithuania since 1990. And right at the start there, a nice little change of hold, some innovation on the first side. And again too, on the change of hold. So watch here for the arm movement. More difficult to hold tight on the lady's shoulder. An unusual and dynamic end. The judges, of course, don't mark the starts or the end of the performance, but every little bit helps. And the costumes, picking up on the title, of course, the Yankee Polka. So very nicely skated. That was one of the best polkas for me today. Again, good ice coverage, particularly on the second side, the way they set the pattern so they could come more dynamically into the middle. Impresses the judges when the couple's coming towards them. And the presentation, very important. But this is where they cut in. So just after those steps, they really cut into the center of the ring. And there, that slight difference with the hold. Coached by, of course, Betty Calloway and Elena Maslinikova. And there are the marks from 5-0 from the UK. That's a bit unfair, really, I think. I'd like to see it higher than that. Of course, it's the relative mark that's important. Up to 5.3 for technical and 5-0 to 5.3. An overall current ranking of 6th position. So they'll be pleased with the way they skated, though. Made a good impression. And next to skate, Arina Lobacheva and Ilya Avabak from Russia. 5th in last year's European Championship. And they won the Nationals earlier this year. if you note on this first side, the lady now has to stay inside the man on this part of the dance, just there where the foot goes back. That's been a new directive from the ISU this year. Makes it very difficult. Skating this precisely, but with lots of speed. Their pattern is the furthest into the center on that section of the dance. So lots of speed in particular. That first side was very sharp. If we see it again, the bit I mentioned where the lady's foot has to go back and she has to stay inside the man's circle, been the cause of many a hurt shin for the man. Trying that new move. Before it, where you're allowed to move and the lady could be more in front of you. Irina and Ilya, trained by Natalia Linichuk and Gennady Karponosov. And they haven't yet won a major international, but came very close, second in Skate America and second in the Cup of Russia last year. And you can see the character of this dance with the skaters almost jumping. The speed over the ice and the speed of the music too. It means that you can't hang about. Less grace in those steps, but you still have to get the precision very accurate. And a good set of marks. 5-3s up to 5-5s and 5-4 up to 5-6. And the Russian judge, Maria Abasova, thought they were worth 3.
4-4, 4-6, 4-6, 4-5. Thank you. On the ice.
And they were second last year in the European Championships, second in the World Championships. Angelika Krylova and Oleg Ovsyannikov have their compatriots, Grischuk and Platov, who are in the lead at the moment, firmly in their sights. Last year, to me, Grischuk and Platov didn't look to be pushing the boundaries of ice skating forwards, and maybe this is the year Angelika and Oleg can overtake them. Very fast and good first side of the dance, but the second side just a little bit more out of tune. It is harder for the taller couples to get the bounce that Judy Schomeyer and James Sladky put into this dance from the States when they made it up. But still, lots of life, and the strength of their skating really comes over. Natalia Linichuk and Gennady Karponosov there. Well, I have to say this isn't the dance that I'd pick for Angelika and Oleg to do out of choice. They're much more dramatic, the tangos, the passos, the passion, not the fun of the polka. But they skated it well, very competent, and I'm sure the marks will reflect that. But there were certain points where it's just a tiny bit scrappy, looking at them relative to the other people around them at this part of the competition. So it's Grischuk and Platov in first place at the moment, and here come the marks. And ranging from 5.6 to 5.7 for the technical, and from 5.7 to 5.8. That leaves them in second place, so they are behind Grischuk and Platov after the first two compulsory dances have been skated.
5.8, 5.7, 5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7. Thank you.
Two compulsory dances. The Russians in first and second place, Grischuk and Platov, Krylova and Ovsyannikov. The first and second places, Anasini and Pezera.